Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 423 of the podcast. And on this episode, I'm talking about the Boston Red Sox saving their season with a 15-game winning streak. For most of this year, the Red Sox have been one of the worst teams in all of baseball, mainly because of the offense. But starting July 4th, they rallied for a franchise record 15-game winning streak where the team scored at least 6 runs in 8 of those victories and hit 22 homers in those 15 games, which isn't a whole lot, but we are talking about a baseball team that is still 29th in the majors with just 98 home runs. Yes, the players on the team deserve all of the credit. Wilson Contreras is having a career year. Sonny Gray is better than I ever expected, but this streak has changed my perception of 2 non-players. First, that's President of Baseball Ops Craig Breslow and interim manager Chad Tracy. Let's start with Breslow. His off-season moves have more than paid off. Even Caleb Durbin has turned his season around. He is one of the key components of this roster right now. I will never understand not bringing back Alex Bregman, but I do now understand being interested in Durbin as a long-term fixture for this roster. Not that long ago, there were respected baseball insiders like Ken Rosenthal stating that Craig Breslow was going to get fired by season's end. Now we live in a world where that is unimaginable. Like, this guy is going to be running the Red Sox come next season and probably beyond that. It's the ultimate cliche to state that winning cures all, but in the case of Craig Breslow's job security, that is indeed the case. Because of how well this team is playing, the team has to move forward with him at the helm of this roster. I think he knows what he's doing, especially when it comes to veteran talent. I mean, he has brought in the right guys: Contreras, Gray, Ranger Suarez. Like, he is picking the right players to add to the mix. Let's talk about Chad Tracy. When they first brought in Chad Tracy, my idea was that they picked this guy because of his history of managing these young players in the minors, guys like Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer. That's why I thought they picked Chad Tracy to be the interim manager. But those 2 guys are now out due to injury, and it's the veterans who are having great success under Chad Tracy, who has to be seriously considered for the long-term manager for this baseball team. And getting back to Craig Breslow for a minute, he's been proven right moving on from Alex Cora, and he's also been proven right with who he replaced him with. Chad Tracy is the right guy for this current iteration of the Boston Red Sox. I don't even see how you could argue otherwise. Just a few weeks ago, most Red Sox fans believed that neither of these 2 individuals had a future within this organization. They just thought that Chad Tracy was going to lose a lot of games and then be let go as manager, and they obviously thought that Craig Breslow was on the way out. Now both are getting, and rightfully so, a tremendous amount of credit for the current state of this baseball team. They have turned their season around. I don't even really care about how it all ends. I want the team to move forward with these 2 in their current roles. Going into next season, I think Chad Tracy should be the manager of the Boston Red Sox. It's a good time to talk about the Boston Red Sox because they just made a significant trade with the Washington Nationals for third baseman Curtis Mead, trading away lefty starter Connolly Early. And some fans are upset. We don't know what the the future holds for these two players and how good they will be moving forward. But I will defend the Red Sox by saying we have enough left-handed starting pitching between Garrett Crochet, Ranger Suarez, Payne Tolley, and Jake Bennett. Those are four guys who, for at least right now, feel like they are going to have an important role in this organization moving forward. Where exactly did Early fit in all of that? That's why he was a guy you had to move on from. Your entire five-man rotation was never going to be built upon five lefties. The only righty you have in the rotation currently is Sonny Gray. Brian Bayo has been a mess. You're going to need right-handed starting pitching at some point. I love the lefties. They're dominating. They're one of the reasons that the Red Sox are where they are. But I think one of them had to be moved. And for as loud as some of the detractors are for this trade, I think they would be even louder if Payne Tolley was the one who was moved in a trade. Then I think a bunch of Red Sox fans would be super upset if they moved on from that guy. I mean, he's exciting to watch pitch and feels like he has a bigger upside than Early. The big question now is Curtis Mead going to be their one major addition, or are they going to go out and make a move for a star shortstop, whether it's Zach Neto or an even bigger name like Francisco Lindor? I don't know if those moves are going to happen, but I do believe that Craig Breslow has a real chance to take advantage of this moment. I mean, the Red Sox should be in win now mode. Yes, the future looks bright, but they need to take advantage of the years that Wilson Contreras and Sonny Gray are having. I mean, these guys most likely will never be this good again. I mean, that gets me to what exactly should the expectations for the Boston Red Sox be moving forward? I mean, right now, they are a really good comeback story and a team that is going to be a wild card team, but you want them to be more than just a one and done wild card team. Like, I think there's a real chance they could compete to make the American League Championship Series, or even, dare I say, the World Series. The American League itself is more than wide open. I mean, the Yankees feel vulnerable. They're without Aaron Judge. They just lost Cody Bellinger. You are better than the New York Yankees as of this moment. And every year, I never believe in the Tampa Bay Rays. So, the Red Sox have a real chance to win the American League. And that is not something I would have said a month ago. Nobody would have said that a month ago, but things have changed drastically, and the Red Sox need to take advantage of that fact. Unlike the National League with the Dodgers, there is no one team in the American League head and shoulders above the pack. I mean, they're all kind of similar. They all have flaws, but the Red Sox are seemingly fixing their flaws. Their offense is getting better, and their starting pitching remains elite. The most optimistic of Red Sox fans might even tell you that help could be on the way. I mean, Garrett Crochet has been injured for a lot of this season. I mean, there's a chance that he comes back. Trevor Story, who I thought was the best offensive player on the team last season, could return. And then you have Roman Anthony. And if Roman Anthony turns out to be who a lot of people thought he could be, then he could add a much needed boost to this team. But most Red Sox fans right now would say save your breath when it comes to waiting for those players. It's why a lot of them want Breslow to make a key move at the deadline. The most realistic of the trades that I can see happening is the Red Sox getting shortstop Zach Neto, who is a very good player. I don't see them getting Hunter Goodman from the Colorado Rockies. I don't think they really need to bolster the catching position. Connor Wong and Carlos Narvaez are good enough for this current iteration of the Red Sox. I mean, the pitching has been so good. Why would you want to bring an outside catcher into the fold? If Breslow wants to think outside of the box, he would inquire about San Diego reliever Mason Miller. I mean, think about it. Aroldis Chapman is getting older. He's under contract for one more season. If you get Mason Miller, you could get your closer of the future. And then next season and the rest of this season, you would have a bullpen of Aroldis Chapman, Mason Miller, and Garrett Whitlock. No other bullpen in all of baseball could compete with that. Right there, that's the kind of move the Red Sox should be looking at. Moves that could not only help this current version of the team, but also help out in the future. That's why Neto makes a lot of sense for the Red Sox. He's a shortstop who's only 25 years old. I don't want the Red Sox to give up a lot for a 34-year-old who's only going to be on the team till the end of the year. I want them to think about the future and think about the here and now. That's what I like about the addition of Curtis Mead. Yes, he's having his best season right now, but I hope that the best is yet to come. He's a guy under control. He's not only going to help this team, he's going to help next year's team and hopefully beyond that. This kind of miraculous comeback that the Red Sox are currently on is really only possible in the sport of baseball because of how long the season is. I mean, there was a gigantic stretch where we all agreed the Red Sox were one of the absolute worst teams in the sport. And at one point, you could say the exact same thing about the Philadelphia Phillies. Both the Red Sox and Phillies fired their managers who had great success with the team, and now both franchises are back on track. The Red Sox with Chad Tracy and the Philadelphia Phillies with Don Mattingly. Here's what I'll say about both teams. Both teams are resilient, and both of them deserve a lot of credit for saving their seasons. But I would also say this. I think these are examples of teams that should have been far better to begin with. I mean, the Red Sox should never have been as low as they were during parts of this season, and the exact same goes for the Philadelphia Phillies. Both rosters have too much talent to be that bad. And in the case of both, clearly changes needed to be made. I'm not saying Alex Cora with the Red Sox or Rob Thompson with the Phillies were the whole problem with the teams, but since those two left, those teams have gotten back on track. That's not an opinion, that is a fact at this point. Now, some have talked about the fact that this is the exact same thing the Red Sox did last season, where they were an okay team and then they took their game to another level close to the All-Star break last season. And last season, they saved their year by becoming a wild card team. You just hope that this season ends on a happier note than losing in the wild card round to the rival New York Yankees. Next, I want to talk about how crazy it is to watch a sports team that is on a dominant run. I'm sure all of you know what I'm talking about. When you're watching a team that is playing great, at times it feels like it's impossible for them to lose a game. That's what it's felt like watching the Red Sox. They could be down by 3 runs and you go, they're going to come back because they have recently shown me how good they are. which is crazy considering there were points early on in the season where the Red Sox would be down by 2 runs and you go, there's no way they're going to come back. The big hit is not coming. The big home run is not coming. Guys like Caleb Durbin were an automatic out in these massive situations. And now here we are, and things are completely the opposite. You want Caleb Durbin up in that big situation. It feels like he's going to come up in the clutch in every key moment. Right now, the 2 big bats I want up during those moments are Wilson Contreras and then Caleb Durbin. You feel like when those guys are up, things are going to happen in a positive fashion for this baseball team. Another guy I always want up during the big moments is Ceddanne Rafaela, who I believe to be the most exciting player on this baseball team. He's the best defensive player, and again, he's not always consistent offensively, but when he gets going, he really gets going, and he's a guy you want up in the bottom of the 9th, down by a run. Getting back to some trade speculation, I mean, could this team move on from a guy like Jarren Duran, who has had an up and down career with the Red Sox? I mean, at one point, he's the All-Star Game MVP. MLB Network votes him as one of the best outfielders in the sport. And now guys like Jeff Passan are telling us that he has absolutely no trade value. At this point, it doesn't take a genius to say that the future outfield for the Red Sox is going to be Roman Anthony in left, Ceddanne Rafaela in center, and Wilyer Abreu in right field. I mean, Jarren Duran does not have a future with this team, and I truly believe that if Roman Anthony were healthy, they would move on from Duran at the deadline. But because Anthony remains out with no return in sight, they are going to keep the former All-Star Game MVP outfielder. It just has to be said how wild it is that the Red Sox are no longer sellers, that Sonny Gray is going to remain on this roster, that Wilson Contreras is going to remain on this roster, that Aroldis Chapman is going to remain on this roster. These were all guys who I thought were not long for this baseball team, and now they are going to be key components to a team trying to go deep in the playoffs. There's something that's absolutely rewarding watching a team turn things around, because you've seen them through the misery of all of that losing, that when Caleb Durbin gets a big hit, it feels epic because you saw those early season failures. In a weird way, you almost appreciate them winning more right now than you would if they had been great all season long. And this really does go all the way back to them letting go of Alex Cora, because that was the front office sending the message that we believe that this season is worth saving, that we're not just going to let these things play out and let him go during the offseason. No, we think this season is salvageable, and they were right. The pitching, with the timely hitting, with the small ball, I mean, it's all working right now, and it's all leading to the Red Sox winning a lot of baseball games. Now, I will admit this, and I think most Red Sox fans will admit this. I like a Red Sox team that is full of superstars. I loved the Red Sox when they had real star power in Manny Ramirez, in David Ortiz, and with Dustin Pedroia. This team right now just doesn't have that. Most baseball fans do not know most of the players currently on the Boston Red Sox. They are not household names. Wilson Contreras is a very good player. He has never been considered a great one. Sonny Gray has been a very good starting pitcher. He has never been a favorite to win an award like the Cy Young. The Red Sox have gone to a point where we all wish we weren't as critical of them early on in the season. But here we are. They went through all that. We were critical. We called them the worst team in baseball. And now they are a team that we would not be shocked if they made it all the way to the ALCS. I don't like saying things like this is the best team in baseball because I root for this team, and maybe most other fans of the sport don't agree with me, but that's how I actually feel that this is the best story in baseball right now. And for as good as it's been, it could get even better because maybe those guys on the injured list are going to come back. I mean, Roman Anthony has a lot to prove. He now has a lot of doubters, and he's going to want to prove them wrong. Maybe that won't pan out this season, but come next season, Roman Anthony has more than enough motivation to live up to all of that promise. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be new episodes of the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe.